Welcome to More Than Hashtags, a practical social media podcast that provides real application, what's working, what's trending, and what's next. I'm Adam Leidecker, Director of Social Strategy at Auto Radio, OTTO Radio.
And I'm Vincent Orlick, the CMO at Brandish Social in Phoenix and President of Social Media Club Phoenix. What's up? What's up, Adam?
Well, this is episode 5.
Oh, you're counting? I lost count.
We're halfway to 10, my friend.
I lost count after 3.
Well, we're here. We got some news, and I'm having fun with the podcast. How about you?
Yeah, of course. I love doing these. These are great. And I like that we're moving around different types of shows. Last week's show with our buddy Isaac Irvine from GoDaddy talking about viral video. If you missed it, go back and listen because that was our best show yet. You know, props to Jesse LaBelle for coming on bonus episode 2.5.
Yeah, it's a special guest
story.
number 1.
Yep. He was awesome. But I'm going to say that Isaac was really interesting to hear how a true viral video happens.
It was also the first episode of More Than Hashdads. Don't forget.
More Than Hashdads. Yeah, that might make a return at some point. I mean, really, every episode where it's just you and me is More Than Hashdads.
That is true.
It really is, if you think about it. The one with Jesse was not More Than Hashdads because Jesse is not a dad.
Sorry, Jesse.
Yeah. So we love you, buddy.
He's a Nintendo dad. No, so this was good. And the funny thing, I saw a tweet today. Someone just watched episode 1.
Saw that too.
And then you chimed in with some awesome little memes. So wherever you are listening and whatever episode you're listening to.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And welcome. Let's get into it, Adam.
Yeah. Why don't you, as always, give a little rundown of what we're going to be doing?
Well, we're going to talk about some tactics, including, should I just name them right off the top? We're going to talk about Google Alerts. We're going to talk about a platform called Nuzzle. We're going to talk about Free Music Archive, which I know some of you are going to really dig. Name Checker. Those are some things that we've discovered recently, and actually, one's an oldie but a goodie. And then we got some industry news. Not the typical stuff. We decided we're not going to talk about Instagram versus Snapchat stories, location stories, any of that. We're not going to rehash this stuff.
You decided that, and I agreed.
I did. I first of all, it makes me angry.
You just said save the drama for your mama.
For everyone's mama.
On Facebook, because she's not on Snapchat.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some other more interesting stuff that's a little bit more relevant, I think, to the everyday person.
Well, let's dig into tactics, and how about yours first?
Google Alerts. I love Google Alerts.
How much do you love Google Alerts?
Well, you can see me, Adam, but the audience can't see me.
This much.
I'm doing this. And you still can't see me. So Google Alerts. If you have never used Google Alerts or never heard of it, it's very simple. Google is a very powerful search engine. You can set up alerts that come to your email based on a keyword or a phrase. If you Google Alerts.
I was just going to ask that question. You don't even need to know the URL. Just Google.
No, just Google. You probably could even Google the word alerts and it would come up. But if you Google Alerts, the first result that will come up that link will take you to how to get your Google Alerts based on what you want. So the power in this is I have some set up, right? You can set them up for daily. You can set them up for as the news happens around this word or phrase or even I haven't tried this, but probably hashtag even works to some extent. Whatever gets read.
Well,
like
I gotta
Twitter.
ask you before you say the next thing. Do you have a Google alert for your own name?
I do. I absolutely do.
So you don't Google yourself. You don't Google yourself. You Google alert yourself.
I do, and I can tell you that I don't get many Google alerts about my name. that much. And I usually what happens is I know when it's going to come because it's something like I did the Fox local TV thing again, and it might come up because of that.
So this isn't every time somebody mentions you in a tweet. This is something a little bit larger.
Good point. It is not. It is. I would suggest. I mean, look, it doesn't hurt to set up a Google alert for your name because it's actually helpful. You can see if something does happen to come up and you're like, what is that? Now, if you have a very common name, I would suggest not to do it necessarily.
You could always add your city in there, perhaps.
Or city. There you go. That's you know better than I do on that one, Adam. There you go. Even though you have a very unique name, like I do.
I am Googling myself right now.
Ah.
And I will say more than hashtags with my name is on the front page now.
Yep.
There's the power.
But it doesn't come up like if you're not going to get an alert every time we do a show or publish it. That being said, that's your name. I do, because of everything social media related, I have Google Alerts set up for each platform, and I have them set up for every day. And because I run a couple of groups, one being Social Media Club Phoenix, one being one based on Snapchat news, that's where I get it all from. And the only reason it's not as quick into the places that I want to post it is because I'm on the West Coast. If I was on the East Coast, the stuff would be like on point ahead of everybody. But that news comes into my inbox. It comes in with the that keyword will bring in actually several different stories about a couple different things that are happening based around that word each day. So today, for instance, for Snapchat, let's say the location, the group stories.
We weren't going to talk about this.
Well, we're just mentioning it. An aside. That was like a section of stories. There was like 3 or 4 stories from different sources there. But then there was also stories about other things that happened involving Snapchat, like that Digiday story about how they're discounting advertisers because no one else does that, by the way.
I will say I often notice you're posting these stories much faster than anybody else.
Yes.
Unless I find them on Twitter first.
Right. Twitter's always going to be, I mean, if you want the most right on top of everything, generally Twitter is going to be the thing, unless you manually go to Google, which is what I started doing back in the day. I was going on Google just first thing in the morning, typing in the keyword of what I wanted to see that day, like what platform, and that all that news, the same stuff came up. But now I just get it delivered right automatically to my inbox. So I found it really useful. I haven't found it to be too much to handle because, I mean, I don't care what's in my inbox as far as the number. I'm not crazy like that. I don't need inbox 0. But I did set up a tab for updates. So they don't go into my primary inbox.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, that's smart.
They go into the updates tab, so I can just go in there anytime and look at yesterday's news or whatever. When something came through, I know a couple days ago, I can see some different versions of it, whatever. But I really like for discovering, for staying on top of news. I mean, you can do this with anything. You can do it about your city. You can do it about the type of business.
I got you. So city, Phoenix, and startup. You could add those two. I
created one for startup when I started managing Auto Radio. Startup radio. So I could stay on top of things as much as possible. But then again, think about it too. It's not necessarily limited, but it's also going out and finding things based on that keyword. So if the word startup is in the story or the title, it'll bring it in. So you're getting a good chunk of it, but there's going to be some other stuff out there that they maybe don't mention that specific word.
So I would say once you Google Alerts, bookmark that page because that's linked to your Gmail account. And then if you start getting these and they're not useful or they're overwhelming, like you pick a keyword that's too generic, you can actually go back in and edit those, add some Boolean searches and some other things.
I got the fix for you with that too. Even easier way is when those emails come in, if you notice in that thing that's an issue, on the bottom of the email it says is a little hyperlink for edit this alert.
Look at that.
And you can just click on it, because I've had to do it. I know it'll take you right to that specific alert. You can delete it, you can edit it, you can create more, and that's also the page where it lists all the alerts you currently have.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use Google Alerts every day. Maybe not as much as you, but I am an inbox zero kind of guy. So I had to turn several of them off that were a little too generic.
Yeah.
But I try to find some of these. Mine are pretty niche or obscure, and they're usually 2 or 3 words or a phrase. So like I'm always looking for the news about podcast discovery.
Right.
So I rarely get those, but when I get them, I know they're good.
Yep.
So that's
great point.
So if you got some breakthrough technology, some startup or some local business, and you want to make sure there's no competition around you or coming in the area, it's a great way to like always be on the lookout. Like literally the other day, I'm not trying to think what it was. I forget what my search term was, but what it was someone who was doing an icon design for a new podcast discovery app. So this was a designer who was just looking for feedback. Well, now I have the inside track of, oh, here's another app coming out.
Do you happen to remember, like, was it on his website or like kind of where it found it?
It was on one of the, trying to think.
Like just a design website or something?
Yeah,
in
it's
a
a
forum?
pretty big design website. But for some reason, it was scrapping the comment underneath that. So it was useful. I mean, and I'll turn them off from time to time. I'll turn them on for, I have them set for South by Southwest. So I have a whole bunch for South by Southwest, usually like recap, South by Southwest, trends. So that I know pre and post, I'm going to be picking up people's predictions of what's going to come out in South by Southwest, and then their analysis afterwards. And I do that around a lot of shows. I know you do that around events as well. And you can turn them off for a time, or you just wait till they come back around. So,
and of course, one other thing to mention, as always happens with this type of a thing, throw your competitor's name in one. See what they're up to if something comes out, so you don't miss it.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I have a couple set up for like obscure ones, not obscure, but like Pandora podcast, Spotify podcast, because I want to understand like for the big music players who may be breaking into these spaces.
Yep.
So,
well, just keeping tabs on the industry news in general is great, but if you can narrow it down to like and not even podcasts, but like if you're a pizza business and you set up a Google alert for, I don't know, new pizza place, Phoenix, whatever town you're in, like you'll get these reports so that you know, at least when the story or the press release comes out, you won't know ahead of time necessarily from this, but you could totally keep tabs on what's going on with your competitors, or just in general what's going on in your area, your neighborhood, certain writers, certain writers for certain publications. If they don't have like their own place, if they just write for this one publication, their name's going to come up whenever they write an article. So go for it.
So it's a good tactic.
Yeah,
definitely. I feel could be underutilized. So those are great.
Takes some time. It can take some time, but it also eliminates some time in maybe going out to find stuff.
Sure.
But then it's like now you do have to take that, a little bit of time to sift through some things. So Adam, you got something for us.
Hey, kind of on the same line, a little different though. It's Nuzzle, and Nuzzle allows you to discover top news from friends and influencers. So it's essentially, it curates from your followers, Twitter followers, Facebook followers, and how it curates that. It gives you a nice little organized list of the top content that's shared every day in your social circles. So you're following people on Twitter. You could be following your competitors. You could be following thought leaders. So they don't have to be following you back, but essentially, say you follow a couple hundred people, it's out of that, the top posts every day that get the most shares, most engagement. So really, it's like a smarter Twitter feed. Or if you're really busy, you don't get on Twitter that day, I check Nuzzle every day. They have a website. They have an app. They actually push me these updates via email as well. It's like one of the emails I actually look forward to getting because I like Google alerts. So every day I'm getting a little recap of everything that top news has been shared. So this is great. This is great to help you curate content, retweet, reshare. If you're trying to engage with those influencers, it might go a long way to engage on their top piece of content, or even produce content around that topic. If you're getting a monthly content calendar and you're thinking of things to write about, Nuzzle's a great way to, over the course of a month, identify these top topics that keep getting shared the most times over and over again. And also, it just keeps me really informed. If I'm getting all like startup news, I'm following a certain amount of people who like a certain amount of things on Twitter. And you can also log into Facebook as well. But Twitter specifically, Facebook, I follow a lot of my friends, where Twitter, I follow industry experts. The other thing you could do is you could sort by influencer. If you want to see the top links that the people Gary Vaynerchuk is following, you could just select, or Chris Sacca, you can select. It's especially helpful if that celebrity or that influencer or thought leader is following not a lot of people, a couple hundred, but they have millions of followers, but only following a couple hundred. You get to kind of glance into their echo chamber. You get to see what they're most likely reading every day and what's influencing their thinking.
That's so interesting. Did you see on Product Hunt the other day, inside the Trump bubble?
No.
Where you could, it's just basically, it's essentially Nuzzle, except only focused on Trump, because it's pulling in the feed that he sees, because it's the people that he follows, which is only like 400, I think. It's only a few hundred, couple hundred.
Almost identical, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like specifically it's like a joke, it's but it is interesting because we all know, not to get crazy political, but we all know it's a fact. He uses Twitter and he reacts and tweets and does things on Twitter. So that is a huge window into what he potentially is like seeing and reacting to and all that. So that's really interesting.
Well, it's the same thing. So say you're trying to connect with somebody and, connecting with them on LinkedIn is not working. If you can glance in and kind of see predictably what people are consuming every day, you can start engaging with them on that.
Oh man. So how about this? Like if I'm out there looking for a job and I'm talking about more so career-wise, it's like you're in a certain industry and there's someone in particular that maybe you want to go work for or that you want to connect with. It would be pretty impressive and a pretty easy way to do it if you use Nuzzle to look at what they're seeing and follow the same people. And if you start, not that you're doing it in a fake way, if it's someone that you want to work for or a company you want to work for, there's a good chance that you're going to be on the same kind of wavelength anyway.
Right. They're going to so-and-so knows so-and-so. I'll more likely engage with them or follow them back.
Yeah.
It is a perception thing.
Yeah.
But you did your research.
It's just like, it's no different than there's someone that this person that you want to work for knows.
Right.
And you go and kind of make a connection with them, whether it's on LinkedIn or in person or send them an email or whatever. It's just another way, but it's just kind of an interesting thing to think about. It's a little, on the slide, but hey, if that was me, if it was me as the employer, and not that I would even find that out that the person did that, but if I did, I'd be like, oh, that's, they really want to work here.
So you could see how the various ways you can utilize Nuzzle.
Yeah.
When I first started using it years ago, it was just a better Twitter feed. And actually then I started curating who I followed a little bit better.
Yep.
And when every 6 months or so, I go through my Twitter following and really, I just think long and hard because I want the best information back.
You don't trust Twitter's algorithm to serve up your favorite people or tweets content?
Well, apparently not, because I'm apparently missing stuff. Because Nuzzle's great. I'm signing
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
and I'm finding things like there's a lot of people talking about Facebook data and this new ICO, which relates to Bitcoin.
very
And
relevant to you.
well, and to me, but also some of the stuff I would have missed for
Right.
sure. And then you can like just swipe in the app and then see actually the feeds of most shared content of friends, which is interesting. Because it is true. We typically follow those who are similar to ours, and then that would ripple, but it does open your echo chamber a little bit. And then they have a whole discover, but anyways, definitely check it out.
Yeah. Does it? They have an app. I know. I've seen. You just were talking about it. I've seen it too. Does it cost anything to use Nuzzle?
I don't know if there's a pro version. It is free. And Google Alerts is free too.
Google Alerts is definitely free.
Hey, these are 2 practical social media tips.
Eh,
Let's get into the discovery segment. Because yet again, I do not know about yours. I have not heard about it.
well, coincidentally, neither do I. No.
Get out of here.
Just kidding.
This guy's really not a guru.
I'm really not. I come into everything blind, totally blind. I found this resource because I'm always looking for video tools. You know, there's a bunch of people I respect and kind of watch what they post about, tools that they use, and then I'll see things on my own, or I'll get targeted with ads because I'm talking about live streaming or just video in general, video content. And then there's other times where I just go and look on my own, you know, or I see something on Product Hunt, and that sends me down a Google rabbit hole of trying to find similar things. This one is freemusicarchive.org, and it's just what it says. It's a website for free music. There's a lot of these sites that will at least claim to offer free. It's kind of like the free photos, like we talked about with Unsplash, and you know, where it's giving you quality stuff. This one is definitely higher on the list in terms of quality. So it's,
and specifically, I see that in the show notes you're linking to the curators link and then music for video.
yes. So it's just, I mean, in all honesty, it's really just in general, like you can take this music and use it and not worry about copyright. You know, it's I don't think has to do with Creative Commons necessarily, which, you know, photos, a lot of that does. They may have a tie-in with that. But just in general, this is stuff that you can download for free,
right?
And use. And in general, I mean, you're going to find something. So it's essentially like the iMovie theme music that's found inside iMovie on, you know, Barry Bonds level steroids.
Well, I see here, I just clicked the link in the show notes, and it said, it does say Creative Commons, but that wasn't checked. What was checked was public domain.
Gotcha. So like Happy Birthdays in the public domain.
Yeah, and then it says there's another checkbox that allows for use in remix or video.
Yep.
So this is great.
And they do have some other limitations, but they're pretty clear. They're labeled. The majority of it, I mean, you can use this stuff. It's similar to when you do a Google image search and you type in type or usage rights. You click on that box at the top after you do the search, and it'll tell you it's okay to use this unfiltered, whatever, or it's okay to use this with some modification. That would be the remix version of music here. But they do have, like, some of it is you can use it all just as long as you do attribution. So when you see these videos, because this is the thing that always bugs me, is when I see these videos, and not to bring up Gary all the time, but Gary Vaynerchuk, Ask Daily V, like, he gets permission. Right. People send him music. I know with his producer, David Rock, like, he asked for music at one point because I don't know if they were running low or they just wanted some more. And if you're in a daily V,
You get a credit.
that's a credit. And like, I know he knows his audience because I like all the music that they use.
All of it. Yeah.
It's really cool. And the other one is Casey Neistat,
Mhm.
who really started this. Let's be honest. Like, he's the one. He did the vlog with this kind of format, this breaking the fourth wall, with the music and the big white letters. The music he uses is fantastic, but a lot of people I know, when they go to upload a video on Facebook, it gets taken down right away because of copyright. YouTube, you get a yellow caution thing that says, hey, just know you may not be able to use this if you don't monetize it or agree to monetize it, or the artist may take it down. So there's a lot of that confusion. People, I don't think in general know like what to do if they make a video.
And I gotta believe when they both got
music.
started, they were going out themselves using their personal interest taste to SoundCloud and then messaging these people and waiting for them to reply.
Right.
They might have actually sat there and messaged 20 people and said, hey, I love this. Can we use it in your video? And then it probably caught on and people started just sending them.
Yeah, but you know what? It's funny because even when you have, like, there's the big misconception. Look, Instagram has video, okay? 60-second video, up to 60 seconds. There's a big misconception that the song that you use in your Instagram video, if you bought it on iTunes, you can use it in your Instagram video.
Right.
No problems. Guess what? Not the case. Instagram you'll make this beautiful video, post it, and then it's like up, and then it's gone. It disappears.
Rights management is a big thing to think about as a brand. Many of the companies I've worked for over the years, we've gotten cease and desist. A lot of times it's just that. It's you say you're sorry and you remove it because you assume, oh, I bought this on this stock photo site for $19. Well, it was only good for this, this, and this, and you used it for this other thing.
Yep.
So it's always good finding that source, that place, like you said. And this is a good resource for free music for videos, for sure.
Or any whatever you want to use the free music for. But primarily I would think for businesses, it's going to be, for this type of stuff, is a video creation.
And what's nice is, like, if you're creating a series, more than likely, if you have like 8 or 10 videos, you're probably going to stick, unless you're like D-Rock and Gary Vee, where you're changing audio every time, you probably will stick the same. So even if you have to go to Free Music Archive and search for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, once you find that one you love, you could just keep reusing it.
The other option, of course, lest we forget, is to hit up our friend Nino Lucarelli.
Link it up.
Link it up on Facebook or Twitter, or especially Instagram. And his services are available. He'll create he made our theme song. I'm happy with our intro and outro.
If you enjoy the smooth beats of our intro and outro, contact me now.
If you enjoy more than hashtags introductory music, let me tell you,
we have 14 hours on compact disc for you. Oh, it must be getting late because we're getting silly.
But no, seriously, Nino, props to Nino.
Sure.
Couldn't have done it without his musical stylings. And hope you guys enjoy the intro and outro music as much as we do. I don't know how many of you get to the outro music, but you hear the intro music if you listen to the show.
Oh wait, you got to fast forward and listen to the end because it's different.
Yes. Oh, we got a special something at the end for you.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure to listen to this whole episode. What do you got, Adam? What's your thing for your discovery?
Yeah, real practical. You're setting up a new website, starting a new company, a new brand, or you've had a company for a long time and you're just looking for those social names. I always recommend, if you're setting something up, finding a name is very difficult, but people always forget to check to see if the social media accounts are available. So I would say you don't want to spend all this money on a logo, on a website, copyright, and all this stuff if the social names aren't available. You can get around that. You can get creative. You can drop vowels. You can do all these things. But I would say in your research, your business plan, prep, and all that, if you could do the work up front and find a website that would tell you instantly if all the names are available. If not, you're going to have to go to Twitter separately, Facebook separately. So the tool that I always use, there's actually two separate companies. There's one called Namecheck and Namechecker. I actually prefer Namechecker.
Wait. There's two different companies.
There's two different ones.
That's amazing.
Funny, right? There's actually dozens. Like if you just type in Google,
Well, yeah.
If you Google Namecheck. So the first one is namechk.com, Namecheck. And they actually give you more domain options that are available. And they probably make money by reselling that domain. The Namechecker, a little bit more visually appealing. It's just a circle with an X through it or a check. And Namechecker is just as it sounds without the E at the end. So Namecheck with an R.com. So search to your heart's content to see if not only the domain, but all the social profiles are available. Keep in mind that if you have a very long name for your podcast, a long name for your website or whatever, so certain social media accounts limit the characters. So I think Twitter is 25?
Or 15.
Something.
Let's talk about our experience with that, Adam.
You mean our stellar Twitter handle, hashtags pod?
Yeah, well, and everything, right? I mean, that's the what else is that? The Facebook page or no?
No.
What's hashtags pod else? Twitter and something else for us.
Email.
Email? Okay.
But the thing is, I mean, that's the thing is, at the end of the day, we had to settle.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good name for the podcast, more than hashtags. It's what it's about. And we went around a couple times with names for months, maybe months.
A while. And then we settled, it wasn't like a fly-by-night, hey, let's do this one.
And then it was like, hey, we can actually get all of these except for this one.
Yep.
Which Twitter is a pretty big deal. But we figured you diehard fans who are listening, if you really want to talk to us, you could just search more than hashtags on Twitter and our hashtags pod will come up.
It comes up.
But in any case, it's a smart move.
Well, on Twitter, wasn't it also that it was too long?
It was too long. So
it wasn't just not
more
taken.
Than hashtags was available, but it was too long by like one.
Yeah.
A couple characters. Like I will say, I use this tool. My friend moved from Phoenix up to Tacoma and bought a neighborhood market, and he was looking to rebrand the local, whatever it was, 7-Eleven, to a real neighborhood market. So we actually ended up helping him rebrand as Delightful Neighborhood Market. Can't go wrong there. But I'm trying to think. I'm going to look it up. Give me something while I look it up, my friend. What would you
Let me find something on freemusicarchive.org. Hold on.
No, what would
Some
you
Muzak? No.
What would you use Namechecker for, or have you used a tool like this before?
Yeah, it's funny because I was gonna say I feel like, again, Product Hunt, like I love Product Hunt, and shout out to them.
We're gonna have to tweet them now because we literally mention it every single episode. It is that indispensable tool that we use every day.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's kind of like, it's definitely a FOMO thing with Product Hunt, but I don't know, it's fun. I have it as a Chrome extension, so I see it when I open up a tab. The latest.
I'm actually beta testing their Brain extension.
Oh boy. They're always having cool stuff going on. Anyway, wait. I was gonna say they have. I feel like on Product Hunt every like once a month, maybe every couple months, there's a new one of these types of things that comes out on Product Hunt where it's not just this. It's like, for your business, here's everything in a box, you know. And one of these things is the social handles is included in that.
Yeah, and I think they probably are making money on selling that domain. So good on them. I was gonna say, so my buddy, we branded it as Delightful Neighborhood Market, which is ridiculously long, but it's a good name as a header and the sign and all that. So anyways, we landed on having his social names be Delightful MKT Market, Delightful Market. So really nice, really branded. Actually, its photos are fantastic.
And if I was in the neighborhood, I would be like, "Hey, honey, I'm heading down to the D."
I'll tell him that. Like,
I'm a big fan of the D.
wow. Sliding in them DMs. We are apparently really familiar with cultural references.
I don't know. I'm just
social
saying
media,
the
you
first
kinda
letter
gotta
of the
be.
word.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I'm into the MKT.
There you go. The
So
notorious MKT. Hey, one thing with this, right? How important is it for a business? Let's say that they're locked in. They got their name, right? They don't want to use Twitter. They don't want to use
sure.
whatever channel. Adam, how important is it for them to still check this out and still maybe go get those
Well, let's just say you become
names?
successful. Your competitor will secure your name and redirect it to their account. So setting up more than hashtags, the first thing we did was grab a Gmail account. So you can't sign up for a Twitter or Facebook account without an email. So we got, I don't even know what our email is. #pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just
#spot@gmail.com.
Yeah. So I got a Gmail account. And then the nice thing about Name Checker is you can go the old fashioned way. I would have to actually go to each one and see if it's available, go through the sign up form. And then, but we probably could secure more, but we secured as many as we made sense to secure and utilize. And I would say that's a must. If you're not going to use it, you don't have to be producing content on every single platform, but go secure that name, especially if you're a big brand. And nowadays, these big brands are probably on social. But when we started out doing this, when I joined some companies back in 08, 09, they didn't have anything. And in fact, people can go a little crazy on domains.
Yep.
I'm not as crazy about domains as this man Vincent is.
And I'm not even that bad compared to some other people I know are.
But they could
really insane about it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big thing like 10 years ago. Got to buy the .net, got to buy the .edu, got to buy everything. And nowadays, I mean, you could do definitely the .com, and then there's some other ones that make more sense. Like you were buying some unique vanity URLs that make more sense.
The .live ones, I'm a fan. I think those have use, and others that are kind of fun, like that you can tie in whatever the domain is, but because not tie in the domain. Yeah, you can tie in the domain because the domain is like dot. I'm trying to think of one where it like ends in like .io, right? So if your company is named like whatever, and the last two letters of the company end in .io, that's another. I would still get the .com, but I would also go get the whatever .io.
Gotcha.
And that's assuming you're not a software company.
And we could get into this later on, but I've done that in the past, like companies that ended in EL and their company name. So I actually secured that for a different reason, or Bitly, LY.
Yep.
I secured that name for a different reason to be like a vanity URL shortener.
Right.
So you use that for social. So we could get into that later in a different episode. That's a good, but that applies. That's a good tip as well. So the nice thing about, you could go crazy and worry about domains all day long, but with social, there's only one. So unless you need to secure multiple variations of it just for protection.
Yeah, because it's not, look, whether you, right now when you start out, the size of your company, most people that are out there, no, you're not even going to want to think about getting on more than like 3 channels, probably 3 or 4, right? I mean, depending on what your company is, but get them all, because if you're in business 5 years from now and these social media platforms are still in existence, assuming that, I mean, maybe you do want to have an Instagram account, or even a year from now. Maybe you don't want it now, and right. you like are swearing, I will never get on that. Well, then something happens, and now you hired someone just to do Instagram for you because it's important, and the account's sitting there waiting for you to use.
Right. Yeah. So if you're just setting up, just consider it like getting your checks and getting your bank account, getting your email is just one more step of setting up.
It's free. There's no reason not to do it.
And if you start hearing the young kids talk about a certain network, might be worthwhile just like plugging in your Gmail, securing that name, and just part of your toolbox for sure.
And the last thing is tying into this. If you see a platform like, say, 5 years ago, or not 5 years ago, but say 3 or 4 years ago, Snapchat, you see it rising, like there's a lot of buzz about it, go and get your name. Get on the app or on the platform, and if you can do it, which most of them, nowadays, the ones that are starting, offer you like right off the bat. It's not like Facebook where you couldn't do it before, or you have to have a certain amount of likes on the page to get a custom URL. Go get it, because again, you don't know. You just don't know.
This is turning into like a username super episode.
Yeah, no, we'll get off of it.
Well,
although the last thing I'll say is, hey, I did it for my kid, for my baby. I did it when she was born. I did it on I got her URL. I got her name.
A ton of following.
Yeah, I got her URL.
No, I was just gonna say, when I signed up for Snapchat, I used it. Well, sometimes the usernames gets locked.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I went to South by Southwest, it's like my 10th year, so I had South by Southwest Adam@gmail.
Mm-hmm.
I signed up for Snapchat, so that's my Snapchat name.
It is.
Can't change it. So I was just gonna say, when you are interacting, the owner of a company, you're interacting as the brand. It's also good to interact as the brand name and your own personal name. So keep that in mind when securing accounts. It's okay to get 2 Twitters, your business account. Always good to have your personal account, because if you need to reach out to somebody, they're going to see a real person. Now, for a long time, it was very popular to say, I'm just trying to think, like Zappos.
Mm-hmm.
And the account was like Tony Shea. So Tony from Zappos. That was a real popular thing to put the name. Now it seems to be going away toward like Zappos, and then Tony has his own account, something like that.
Yep.
So
cool. Well,
bring us the industry news. Start it off.
Well, I kind of thought you were gonna talk about that first. The whole the lenses and.
Let's do it.
That was your thing. So full disclosure, Adam's got a little bit of a frog in his throat.
Oh no, I'm just
a sore throat or something. I don't know.
A little bit, huh?
It's all right. I mean, you can't tell.
I just thought that was my dark and lovely voice.
It's the fan that's behind you. The allergies are kicking in.
I got this new mic. It's called Morning Voice.
At 11 o'clock. Hey, look. Also, full disclosure. Again, I'm in the garage, and I did have to wheel in the fan in the garage today.
Ouch!
Because there's no AC in the garage. And
what are you gonna do next week?
The fan.
Because we have a treadmill in our garage, and in the summertime, I ran last summer. I'll probably run this summer. It's like Bikram running.
Mm-hmm.
Bikram, is that how you pronounce it? Bikram?
Sure.
Somebody will correct us.
Bikram yoga, Bikram running,
Bikram podcasting,
Bikram Adam. Yeah, Bikram podcasting. That's the Bikram pod. This is a special Bikram edition.
Unreal.
Starting this week, all the way through till October.
We love Arizona.
What's the news, Adam? Because this is the news item is like your item, and then we'll talk about it.
Sometimes it's related to social. Sometimes it's related to just being on the lookout for the future, to grow your business, to anticipate. So I started seeing this trend. So today I saw that Pinterest launched Pinterest Lens. They launched this like back in February, but today they added this extra layer that when you take a picture of strawberries, it presents you with recipes for strawberry salads, strawberry desserts. So if you guys are fans of Silicon Valley, it's kind of funny.
Yep.
Last episode was about a food app called Seafood, and it wasn't that at all. But in any case, and then last week, Google launched the Google Lens. So if you're walking on the street, you could take out your camera and put your camera on a business, and have information layered over top of it.
Yeah, sounds familiar, but go ahead.
Sounds familiar. So I guess my point is it seems like half of tech is going toward voice assistants. And those people are saying the smartphone is going to be obsolete in 3 years. And the other half, namely the social networks that are becoming camera companies, camera-first companies, are layering on lenses. So where my mind is thinking of this is you're a restaurant. People are now going to take a lens, Google Lens of your business before they walk in to decide if they want to go there. Nice. Oh my goodness. Vincent just did a Pinterest lens of me.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it came up with the similarities. Go ahead.
It looks, well, because of the lighting right now and the lights are off, it looks like I'm in the Blair Witch Project. Can you just hold it up to the camera?
I can if you really want me to.
It's like a potato salad.
Because it pulls up the similar.
Hopefully it's not a recipe.
It is not a recipe, but it pulls up the similar things that it reads from, like.
It's just the glare off my forehead.
I don't know if you can read that.
Gentle woman. Angela Lansbury. Wait, what's the other one? I can't see it.
It says Lansbury.
And what's the other one?
It's a red plus sign. So let's see what that does.
Potato.
Oh, it says, "Help! I'm still learning. What am I looking at?"
Oh my goodness.
Well, if I say Adam Lydecker.
No, don't do that.
Oh yes. Like I can't look. It pulled up your initial. It pulled up Angela Lansbury, and it happens to be the same initials. I want.
That's kind of weird.
AL.
Well, this is kind of funny because, like, my daughters and I use all the filters from Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. We don't post them, but we just play that game every night. Like, do the one with no mouth, no face. This is kind of a fun. I don't know. It's very interactive, very.
It's pulling up all people that are wearing glasses, also.
Whoa, this is weird. It's like a stock photography search
YouTube
website.
videos. It's pulling up all these YouTube videos.
Huh.
So I wonder if it's also reading that it's a video that we're on.
Wow.
Because maybe the audio, it's reading the audio. Dude, that's crazy.
Well,
and it pulled up Gentlewoman because Angela Lansbury was on the cover of the Gentlewoman, apparently, at some point.
Well, and if you look at those glasses in there, they kind of look like mine.
And don't worry, everyone. This will be going in the show notes. In case you haven't seen, on Medium, we've created a publication that is. I'm updating it slowly, but it'll get there. Documenting each episode. This will
kind of lead into your point about.
Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. I had to do that.
No. I was just gonna say, like, this kind of leads into like your point about this section of the podcast.
Yeah.
We are the practitioners. We are motivated to understand the human experience, and then we're kind of like early adopters, but not. At least myself. I will dig in. I'll get in there, but I may not use it or recommend it for brands for a while to understand the human experience. To understand, I don't want to be that brand that goes in to like exploit it, follows 100,000 people, and is that brand. Right. I want to understand how to use it correctly and be that brand that's useful and helpful. Oh, nice. You're lensing yourself. I did it. I said it, lensing.
You did. Oh, only one thing came up.
I'm more actor. You're an actor.
Yeah, look at. Oh, those are some handsome devils right there. What? You got Angela Lansbury, buddy. And I got Jake Gyllenhaal.
What's funny is that's like a Facebook quiz.
Elijah Wood.
No.
Paul Rudd. Apparently I look like Paul Rudd. And this guy with the beard.
I think I was like picking up the backpack behind you with
That's hilarious.
The Frozen characters.
Yeah, meanwhile, I don't look anything like any of it. But the picture I took of myself is pretty solid.
Well, yeah, screenshot that.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah, so I think we talked about this before the show, so your points are coming up very valid. But
for once,
I'm thinking like just be on the lookout. Like, for instance, if you're a business, make sure that if 2 billion Google phones in the world, soon to be 3 if they have their way, make sure your business information is correct. Make sure that you keep an eye on those rating websites and that your customer service is on point, because now it's not people like searching in their home or in their car where they're going to go eat tonight. They're literally standing outside, holding their phone up, and then walking past you based on what they see, what they don't see. And there's actually some, in the demo, there's some cool actionable things they showed. Like they took a lens. I'm going to keep calling it lens.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a lens, but I'm not lensing.
Okay, fair enough. Of a concert. They took a lens of a concert marquee that said "Coming Soon Concert," and then they used the voice assistant to ask the Google Assistant to order tickets and add it to their calendar, and it did, based off a real world object. Going back to the Pinterest lens, their example was you're in your favorite brunch place, you take a lens and use it again
Mm-hmm.
of those Belgian waffles, and then you're going to be served all these fantastic recipes with ratings. Now, if you're really on your content game, I would want to be, if you're this like house of Belgian waffles, I'd want to make sure that that recipe that came up was your recipe, was your branded recipe. So both in, you got to consider now there's like, now people's food will really go cold before they eat it because they're Instagramming it and lensing it.
No, Instagramming food is out, Adam. Didn't you know that? Come on.
Oh,
No one does that anymore.
I bought my digital SLR. I'm back in the with a giant camera.
And this leads into, the statement that you just made is probably gonna scare a lot of people. A lot of business owners.
Yep. One more thing to do.
And as you were saying that too, the other thing I thought about was, if you're that house of Belgian waffles, right? There's a reason you exist. There's a reason why you have customers, because I don't know how to make. Not only do I not know how to make them, I don't want to make them on Sunday morning. I want to go there with my family and eat them and enjoy a delicious breakfast of Belgian waffles that they love. And my 3-year-old will yell if we don't go to, because she wants to go to that specific place. So there's that element too, that we're not trying to freak anybody out and tell you that you have to like do all this and that. There's some basic things that Adam just mentioned that you want to have done anyway, but now will certainly increase in importance, especially in the Google world. Probably in the Facebook world as things develop too, because if you think Facebook and Snapchat are battling, you just don't hear about necessarily Facebook and Google, but those two hate each other. In the tech world, maybe not personally, like Facebook and Snapchat, it seems, but Facebook and Google have been battling for years. Yeah. And it's more Facebook than, like, Facebook is caught up to Google in the sense of how large of a just behemoth or presence, that was the word I was looking for, that they have, because Facebook is on top of the internet. Facebook is the layer on top of the internet that almost 2 billion people are using daily for hours. And are they using it to do these types of things? Not quite yet. Facebook has been trying to push people to do this stuff for years with check-ins and offers. And I'm trying to think of what was the other thing that they did too.
Well, now they're letting people order food through Facebook.
Well, they're gonna keep pushing it,
right?
There's no question they're gonna try to keep pushing it, and because Google does have this stuff, and Facebook does have the things where you can put text on photos. You can do that so that right now it's for the visually impaired. It will recognize that there's a tree in the photo on Facebook. And so there's a setting on your phone, just side note, if you want to set it so that when you're on Facebook, it will tell you what's in the pictures. It will tell you, It will read it and tell you what's described the picture to you if you're visually impaired, if you want that. That being said, that's all coming. It's all here to a point with the recognition, the facial recognition, image recognition. Zoomf, our friends at Zoomf just came out with an image recognition tool within Zoomf. Yeah. So you can identify pictures like people that have a beard, I mean, anything you can think of that's in the yeah, it's in there. It's in there for people that have like the annual plan or whatever. It's
So what
automatically
does it do that? Does it add hashtags? What is the purpose of that?
for marketing. For you can identify within like user generated content.
I gotcha.
Let's say
Yeah, that's
you
cool.
can targeting, ad targeting, you name it. It's just crazy that like Zoom, they're a good size up and coming company, but like Zoom is doing that, and
Right.
there's a lot of others that don't have that, but it's all coming. It's all coming. So that all being said, what we were talking about is with businesses, don't feel like you have to jump on every single platform, every single app. You have to have a presence there. Get your handles, get your usernames, but you don't have to be using them all the time. Still use the relevant ones, but your website is super important for Google, because Google is super important for most, if not all, businesses. It doesn't mean you have to blog every day, but if you can create a blog page, blog once a month, have a regular post once a month, and create good posts, solid content, helpful, educational, monthly. That will, you have to track it through Google Analytics, but you'll see a jump. You'll see things happen over time.
Because if not,
they'll find you.
Because Google crawls your page to look for new content constantly.
Right.
There's so many restaurants that set up their website in 2007 and haven't touched it. So
I think having the menu there is like, oh, what our menus there
Right.
are hours, our location, and pictures of our food. That you have a website, but is it working for you? To a very limited extent.
Yeah, because like one thing that I did, I craft wallets, minimalist wallets, and bottle openers on the side. So one thing I did for a while was actually bring in that user-generated content from Instagram based on my custom hashtags, fed that into the front page of the website. Use those images for the shop, to show people actually using it. So that's a good point. I was going to get back to, I was going to close out my Pinterest lens thought real quick, because I think if you're a business thinking about how to use it, you're going to use it how it's used. So Pinterest, people love recipes naturally. They collect recipes. So I don't know if you could do this. I didn't investigate it. If you could actually stack photos. Have you done that before? Can you stack like 3 photos?
Well,
this is what I would do. I would actually go in my fridge and take a photo of 3 different things, and I want a recipe for those 3 different photos. Or I'm in Sprouts Healthy Market, and I'm going to take a photo of, asparagus, steak, and something else, and I want it to pop out a recipe. So a grocery store could actually, I've seen grocery stores put up things on about, find this recipe on Pinterest, because they actually created that content. Follow us on Pinterest to get the recipes. I think if they were a little bit savvy, they could dig in and actually group ingredients in the aisle. But it's kind of like find your own adventure. Really, it is.
Yeah.
So that'd be a fun gamification. Like you go get spinach and strawberries and chicken, and you think you're making that salad, and the next thing they recommend is poppy seed dressing. But really, there's 20 different things you can make with those. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but I'm thinking, if this feature took off, there's people using it in their own fridge. But as a, healthy grocery store, you could utilize, if you created the content yourself, already put it on your account, and ensured that somehow those. So I don't know if you could stack images. That'd be pretty awesome.
I bet that.
We're going to tag you, Pinterest. So when you hear this episode, that's our tip.
And I mean, Adam, just talk for a second.
All right. He's literally going to go get a potato. Man. So in any case, we just want you guys to think about this stuff. Every episode, we're going to bring you practical tactics, stuff we're discovering week to week, or oldies but goodies. I've been using Namechecker forever. And then we're going to bring you kind of this either futurist industry news, under the radar industry news, are some news that we just don't think is getting the attention it needs to be. Because that's kind of like we're living in the now and the present, but we're always like thinking, what's next? How can we beat the algorithms? How can we get ahead? And Vincent is back.
Hey,
And on camera, he has.
we can even edit this.
No, it's all good. You got honey grams, man. You got an apple, honey, graham crackers, and Frank's Red Hot.
So
Wow.
let's try it.
Okay, this is live.
Let's try the organic. But it's an organic apple, by the way.
I don't know if you need to photo that tag. Is your app updated, by the way?
Oh, I have it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, all my apps are updated. Well, now that you say that, I'm going to double check, but I just updated everything. Yeah, I only have one app that's not updated. And it's not one that I hardly ever use. So, alrighty. Apple.
Taking a photo of an apple.
Lensing.
Lensing an apple.
Let's see. I'll do it without the
Organic
word in there. I gotta say, it's really intelligent already.
I'm going to say it's not a hot dog.
Okay, that's a good one. So what came up was
Okay.
these keywords.
Wow, pomegranate. So it's interesting it did pick up like pumpkin, tomato, red, food, apples.
Yeah, I mean, look at the image too. It's very generic. Like, I don't know if I looked at that if I would know if that was an apple.
It could be lighting as well because it's picking up.
It could be a tomato. Like tomato, honestly.
What do you do? Select apple? Click on apple?
Well, no, not so. Now there's things underneath that I can. If I swipe up, there's like pins that are related to these keywords.
So I actually want. What's that photo button at the top? I actually want you to take a second photo. Can you do that?
I can. Well, I can't do a second photo. What I was gonna do was take a photo with all these things in it and see what happened. You can't do stock photos because it doesn't let you take more than, it only takes you one at a time. So how about, and I wanted to try these one at a time real quick too.
You're really smart. Yeah.
Frank's Red Heart.
Red Heart.
What happens? Red Hot. Sorry.
That'd be like super smart if there's a whole bunch of Frank's recipes at the top.
So this one, beer, IPA, food, brewing, ales, and drinks. It's reading it as a beer.
Huh.
And it's giving me all beer and drinks and stuff. Oh, wait. There is one picture for Frank's Red Hot. There's another picture for Hooters hot sauce. There's other hot sauces. So, little iffy, right? I wonder if – let me try that one more time with the whole image in it rather than just the label.
It might be lighting too. I noticed it's not
It might be the lighting. Yeah.
It's not turning the flash on like some cameras do.
You know what? But I think it did. It did something. Oh, it's on automatic. So I guess I just have just enough light in here. So
this is if we kept going, man, this is a real radio voice I got going on.
Yeah.
Maybe a radio voice. Maybe it's terrible.
So it's still picking up beer, but it's also picking up sauces and hot sauces too. All right, so that's that.
Interesting.
And then this is great radio, by the way. It's okay. This will be good. All right. The graham crackers. Oh, well, it's mixing teas and other thins.
So based on the first one you did where I was Angela Lansbury and the glasses,
Don't feel bad.
I'm thinking it's picking up box shapes. The bottle shape, the box shape. I'm thinking it's like, it should just say, not a hot dog, we're still learning.
What if – well, but here's the thing. When it first came out, I did take a picture of – I ran and got a potato. And I took a picture. I lensed the potato. I lensed it.
And you ran.
Yeah. And it pulled up potatoes, and if I remember correctly, it did pull up a recipe that used like mashed potatoes or something. So it did work to that point. I wonder because I'm also on the label of this. Like I'm using the label.
Gotcha.
The box. I'm not using the actual. Yeah, see, this picked up bread. That picture which is from the box, which is showing graham crackers,
gluten-free.
and bread. It's all bread, the keywords.
Well, in any case, I
Anyway.
think, yeah, I mean, hey, we just tried it. It's not perfect, but
No, but
I love the concept.
It's also better. It's better than what I'm using it for right now, to be honest. Because like I said, the potato thing. Oh, well, so I just took a picture of the red hot sauce and the apple together,
Apple cider.
and it pulled
apple cider vinegar.
Way more relevant stuff.
I think if you click on that, though, if you click on apple cider vinegar,
Yep,
it's interesting.
then it pulls up pins for apple cider vinegar, having to do with a lot of it is infographics. There's some recipes.
I'll just tie this up with a bow.
Yeah.
So one thing that I've noticed is becoming a trend, which nobody ever did this before, is favorite restaurants. I mean, you're going to eat there anyways, but I've started saying like, okay, so I got an email from Chick-fil-A and they're like, get the sandwich on Sunday. So all of a sudden I thought they were going to put like a vending machine out front, but no, it was just their executive chef that shared a recipe on how to create their iconic sandwich on Sunday because they're closed.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed a lot of restaurants doing that. So I would say like they're probably putting that on a newsletter, on a blog, Facebook, Twitter, but they're probably not putting it on Pinterest. And if you got a lot of, knowing your audience, you got a lot of moms on there. I'm assuming they're not, but be thinking about that. If you're, a company or a restaurant, definitely be thinking about ways to reach your target audience.
If you do anything in food or the bridal industry, furniture, and you're not on Pinterest, you're making a mistake.
Hey, I got an experiment I'm working on. I will be able to share it in a couple episodes. That it does not relate to what you just said. So that's the part of the show where we try something to see if it works or not.
I think that Pinterest is still super underrated, and especially among the marketing community.
Yeah.
It doesn't get the just due as all the discussion is around Instagram and negatively around Snapchat and in a big way around YouTube and Facebook. And that's where the discussion is right now in our industry. Not that anyone listening to this cares, but I like Pinterest is super underrated. And you know what though? It's coming because they're going IPO probably next year. It's probably happening. They're not selling themselves to Google. They're big enough. They're an e-commerce site. They're not going to be a Snapchat, guys. They're going to be 4 times that amount when they IPO.
Yeah. And they're really smart. Like
it's crazy.
They got a loyal following. Like I use it. I'm going to want to remodel in a couple years, a year. I like a lot of design pins.
Yep.
Inspiration. My wife has. I just did that. She has like 40 or 50,000 pins.
Wow.
And most of them are on private boards.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because she's spending the time on it.
Well, she's also using that for inspiration for a few of her projects that she may not want to share with everybody else.
Right.
Yep. So yeah, it's definitely so that dark and lovely voice is definitely disappearing quickly.
Well, we're almost done.
We're gonna get.
We're gonna do. I want to say this because I want to do a Pinterest discussion like with someone that knows Pinterest.
Sure.
I don't know Pinterest as much as I need to, but I want to have someone on that really is into Pinterest and can talk about it on a real level. Like,
and apparently every time I say Pinterest, I say it wrong because you said it differently.
I say Pinterest, but do you say Prescott or Prescott?
Biscuit.
Biscuit. Well, I say biscuit.
Oh man. No, but that's true. I think Pinterest is a sleeper. I think people
somehow
like what you just did. You pegged it, but there are very demographic, but for different topics. It's almost like, for sure, I'm sure there's people that are in car clubs that just pin car modification stuff all the time. and use it as a search engine.
Oh, I bet they're not even on Pinterest.
They're just searching.
I bet you they're not, because what is it, 80? It's still 85% female. So the car clubs, I mean, look, not to stereotype, but it's true. Car clubs are primarily dudes. They're primarily dudes, majority. So
Still using Google Images.
MySpace, no.
But as far as ideas, like I think maybe that whoever they hire for Growth Next in that vertical, because like, yeah, maybe they have this perception, but if you want to get
silly.
like creatively charged, or just find just the best stuff on the internet, really cool inspiration. Right now I have like 700 pins on white kitchen tile. But it's like really cool stuff. Like
Riveting.
Yes, riveting. But gives us ideas of what we want to do.
I used to be more active like a few years ago, and it's funny because if I go on my account right now, I can tell how long ago I was active on it because of the stuff that's on there, the topical stuff at the time. But the one thing that I did at that time also was I created a board called Childhood, and it was like all this stuff that I was just on it one day, and I was going down this rabbit hole of things that I remembered, like cartoons, and I would look up, in New England, there was these couple of famous commercials in that area for the Boston Museum of Science. There was these silly old commercials that everybody, if you grew up in that area in the 80s, you know what I'm talking about. I can make an ocean wave.
So let me guess, you had like 200 followers on that board.
I'd have to look, but there's some. Yeah, there's absolutely some. And it's just funny. It's the niche that it's a big deal.
Well, when I launched the company where I make those wallets, I'd actually do roundup of like essential gear.
Yeah.
And mine would happen to be in there, but those things would be like, or I did like verticals of beards, dudes with beards, and then like outdoors, and some of this would link back to blog content. Some of this would be, my content would be peppered throughout.
Yep.
But a lot of traffic still came from there.
Oh, and it's easily
or gift guides, stuff like that.
Yeah, and they talk about it all the time, about how essentially behind Google, and within Google is YouTube. Behind those two, like Pinterest is the next highest traffic driving back to blog content, back to websites.
Right.
Which makes sense. I mean, people have been using it for a few years and like heavily. So, but blogs specifically, I forget what the stat is. I'll try to find it and put in the show notes. But the blog driving back to blog content is humongous on Pinterest. It's huge.
And I don't know if you know this. I don't know if this is like a little bit of a hack or what, proper or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But when you pin something, you can go back in later and edit it and then add the link back to your blog. So it doesn't mean that image came from your blog.
Right.
Probably didn't. You're curating just like you do on Instagram. But you can go back and put the source as your site, so when people click on it, they can go back. It makes a lot of sense if you have a recipe and it connects to that recipe, but it is kind of a little bit of a hack if you're curating a gift guide, or if you're sharing, the best little cabins or something.
Yeah, I was creating more original pins than I was pinning other people's stuff.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, I like for blog stuff, because I was using it. I would have a board that went back to my blog, and so what I would do is not use the pin it button. I would just create an original pin with the image usually I didn't put the same image. Usually I just made like a really much better fitting or cooler images, and then when they started doing the covers for the boards themselves,
right?
Or you could pick which one you wanted out of your stories, out of your pins, that was the cover. But yeah, so we'll have to get into that, because this is a huge, much bigger conversation than this.
And also, we're gonna get to the question of the show. But if you made it this far, congratulations!
Congrats! You found the secret. You found our surprise.
And if you answer the question of the day and you tweet us, Vincent will hand curate the best animated GIF of your life back to you.
Oh,
or
yeah.
or meme.
Yeah, I like it.
Something.
Let's make that a standard practice.
That's right.
Anytime someone tweets the answers our question of the day on Twitter,
that's your prize.
you're gonna get. It's kind of like the taco emoji engine.
Oh, it's gonna be really good though.
The Taco Bell emoji engine. If you ever try that,
This
it'll be in GIF form.
So this actually goes right back to your question of the day.
Yes, it's the question of the day, and I have mine ready. By the way, Adam, I don't know about you, but what is your favorite all-time viral video?
Post or tweet.
Or post or tweet. Well, I think the video is more likely though. That's just what people are gonna really remember.
Man, mine was
like, how many viral tweets do you remember other than Ellen and the dude that just broke it?
Oh, that's true. Oh, I was actually thinking of this will be my example. Like when the fast food companies get into Twitter wars with each other.
Like Wendy's and yeah.
Yeah, I mean those are pretty
memorable.
Yep. Sharp, snazzy.
It's funny though because they become viral because, like what Isaac said, they get picked up by the publications,
right? Who
are noting oh, look at these brands. Like I already see it kind of starting to die down now, because it's not new anymore. It's not new. It's Wendy's kind of showed everybody how to do it, whether for better or worse. There's been some backlash on that too, but
so I had found a video last night, shared it with my buddies. We haven't watched it since 2008, and it was the Woot Woot video. Do you know what the Woot Woot video is?
Woot Woot.
Yeah, it's literally a video from 2007 or 2008 of a news report in Oakland where these auto body shops were I don't know, soldering, welding in these whistles in people's exhausts. But anyways, it's before they auto-tune the news. Let's just say that. It's before they did the auto-tune the news and auto-tune videos. So it's the car's going through your neighborhood. It's going, woo, woo. You got to see it. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. I laughed.
I believe you. I mean, there's so many, right?
My buddy Mitch lives in Oakland, so I was thinking of him, and apparently there's nobody wooing through his neighborhood anymore. What is your favorite viral video?
Well, let me just play it for you.
Ooh. It's just a clip of this show.
Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Back at it again with the white man. Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Back at it again with the white vans. Spicy, man. Damn, Daniel.
I don't know why that's my favorite. I mean, I have some reasons, but I think that I want to say that was the first one that was Snapchat based. That ended up being a viral video, which I thought was really interesting. That it transcended, it broke out of the platform, and then that turned into a whole Ellen thing where she had them on the show, and Vans coincidentally was also celebrating their 20th anniversary of being in existence that year, so they gave him a lifetime supply of Vans.
So was this organically created, or do you think this was a part of a campaign?
See, the thing is, I don't know. It was organic. I mean, for all intents and purposes, everything that's been written about it, or they've talked about the kids, they were on Ellen's show, they were in high school. It was organic. How it broke out of that, that's a little,
Sure.
Maybe that was different with Vans saw it. And,
who amplified it and whatnot.
Yeah. I bet. I'm sure that's what happened. But because I can't imagine that, if you really, really think about it and analyze what's going on in the video, it's multiple snaps of this kid just walking around wearing his Vans, and his friend going, "Damn, Daniel, damn!" It's not.
Back at it again.
Who's gonna write that?
Right.
It's one of those things that if you wrote it, someone would be like, get out of here. Even though it's Snaps and Snapchat, you'd be like, that's not a campaign.
Well, if you're
like,
some
get
kid
out of
in
here.
high school, we probably got a lot of feedback from the first couple. We just kept doing it.
It was probably like their thing.
Yeah.
Their joke, and I mean, obviously they're buddies, they're messing around. So anyway, that's honestly, I don't know if that's my total top favorite. That's the one that came to my mind though. Oh, and the other thing too about that one that I remember is the Bitmojis. That was the first one I remember where Bitmoji
Boy,
made a Bitmoji like from that.
oh, that's awesome.
It was really, and I it's still in there. The Bitmoji's still in there. If you go
Alright.
look, there's one called Damn Daniel, and it shows the shoe. Like it's just funny. I find it hilarious. There's so many other viral videos.
Question of the show.
Yeah, what's your favorite viral video?
All right, tweet us, guys, at
Tweet us.
#pod, at Adam Leidecker, at Vincent Orlick. And I just want to read this because we never say it. You wrote this in the show notes. I just got to read it. It's probably late. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
As always, make sure to tweet us at #pod with your answers as well as any feedback, suggestions, wild accusations, and or circumstantial evidence to the contrary. And thank you for tuning in.
I wrote that before the first show, with the ambition of for every show making it some goofy term in there.
I want you guys to tweet us your circumstantial evidence
Yes.
and your wild accusation.
Yeah. You try it because we can get away with it if the president can. I mean, that's what's happening every day anyway. So tweet us with your circumstantial evidence. We'll beat it.
That's right. We'll meet
beat
it.
it. You got nothing on us.
Oh man, that's the show.
So what? I slapped Adam's hand away when he tried to hold my hand.
How dare you? Well, I was trying to lens it.
That's
That's what it was.
don't lens the Pope.
So every episode's serious or comical, but in any case, it's more than hashtags. It's practical.
It is. Later.
Hey, see you next time.